Okay, that's it. I hope that brought you to the present moment. We will talk about emotions and feelings for a change here. You know, we've had this sort of warrior theme here lately, which is very much related to this. Well, let's start with this. So, as an example, you may have tried to get get to the next level with your body in some way, particular way. It could be that you're trying to build more strength, or you're just trying to lose weight or anything, but you're plateauing. So you notice a plateauing. It could also be that you're just not gaining the mobility you want. You're trying to fix a pain in your body that is just not going away. Maybe you're trying to just gain a little more flexibility, but you just can't make it. And now you think, well, you're like, have I done maybe everything I can? Some of you are certainly probably have noticed that or know that there is something that you could do, but you just can't figure out. You can't put your finger to like, what is it? What could it be? Because in training wise, you've done pretty much everything, but you haven't really changed your approach maybe in the deepest possible way. And you haven't really explored the sort of the emotional feel of things as well. Because what I'm about to say here may sound a little odd and goofy first, but bear with me and it might make a little bit more sense in the end. So certain exercises, certain movements, certain alignments and postures in the body, and a certain performance comes as a natural consequence of a certain mental state. So I'll say it again. So certain movements, postures, performance in the body just comes as a consequence, completely natural consequence when you have a certain mental state in you. But without this mental state, if you don't have it, then you will not get these exercises sort of the right way. You don't get the real spirit of them. Maybe you're doing some movement training as well and you just can't get that fluidity or something that you want in those movements. You can't flow or something. And so this is the reason why it's so hard, almost nearly impossible for certain people at a certain phase of their training, during their training life, to get something right, something that exercise or get through a certain plateau in the weight loss, whatever it is because you're kind of stuck in a certain state, because we all have a certain mental state all the time. But you're stuck in one and you can't really get rid of that, because now if you've always lived your life sort of like a shy puppy, you know, and you have this bad posture and everything, and then you need to get onward. Well, sometimes in order to get forward in your training and better yourself, you need to raise up. You need to be like a bloodthirsty wolf or something like that. But you've always lived your life here like shying away, and you can't if you can't unlock the other mental state. It's actually very hard to improve in the body upon it. And sometimes if you start improving the body, you might awaken that spirit in you. That's very possible. But there's also, to complete other examples as well, some people just stubborn, they push and push and push, and it's almost like they're trying to force everything. And then you would actually need to become sometimes more serene. You need to calm down and yield a little bit, and you become some ways more feminine. For example, the whole last year, my training was very soft type of training. I was kind of still treating the body. I was learning a lot of softer training style methods. I was developing a lot of methods, and they were very useful. But my training was very, I would say, kind of feminine. But see, that's the other side of things. You can't be too stuck in any form of thing, otherwise you'll just become stiff. Or if you just do like softer styles, you're just gonna stay weak and you can't surpass in something that requires more strength. Now there are other examples as well. There's some people, they're so unsure about yourself, and whatever you feel in your body is that you just constantly like try to listen to somewhere else, like hey, can you tell me and like what is you just try to get from elsewhere or something. And in this case, you may need to just create more trust in yourself. But the other one is also true. So I might be always like me, I know everything, and I can do everything myself. And this can also create a huge block, because sometimes you just need to kind of humble yourself down and actually just ask for help. So there's always that either one of these extremes can be useful, but they also, if you get stuck in them, your progress can collapse. Because now you're also shutting down all possible ways of like knowledge and progress and just like visions and understanding coming to you, right? And if I had, like I said, I think if I had heard this some years ago, I just wouldn't have really recognized, like just listened to it, because it's just a weird concept maybe to hear at the start, like that, like, because it's so external thing, like the mental side, what do you mean? I need to feel something? Can I just do it? And sometimes yes, you maybe can, but sometimes you're only doing from the mental state where you are at, but you need to change the tracks many times to make a change. So one thing also here is that many people, I want to bring this out, the reason why you can't change those tracks is because people are using, for example, drugs. They're using stimulants and all sorts of stuff. And every time you're using something like this, you're kind of covering the natural energy and something that springs from here. Okay, that this happens. And if it's covered, then you'll never reach sort of the zero state, the bottom state, where you should go every now and then. Because many times we use the drugs in order to remove that. So you wouldn't get down, you wouldn't get to the bottom. That's why we use stimulants and all sorts of stuff. So you wouldn't have to face yourself there in those lowest points. But if you did, you would know this is very good. It's a healing place. It's something where it gives you inspiration, it gives you these new ideas, new feelings that takes you forward, gives you these like visions of what you actually should do in order to get forward in your life. And this case in training. Many are now missing a certain mindset of toughness, I think. This is the sort of warrior mindset that I've been talking about. Because it's a very straightforward path. The warrior path is very straight. Because it just cuts through all the sort of chit chat, all the like the BS that you could have in your head going on about whatever it is that you don't have to do this, or I can't get through that, or I can't attempt this, because the warrior path does not really care whether it even gets to that goal. It just wants to raise to the occasion and gives its all in that occasion, push everything there. Even if it gets knocked out, if it gets crushed, if it starts to cry, it goes down, whatever it is. Because the warrior path this is why it's straight. There's no like what ifs. You just go and you do it. So this is what I want to bring. For example, the attitude and the mental toughness of this. When you apply this to your training, some pretty incredible magic can happen. And the Warrior 20XX is a new program I've been talking about in other videos as well. You've seen maybe the trailers, which is kind of like high intensity workouts. They follow along where I'm doing this whole workouts, do with you. And I get to show you, this was the thing that I wanted to do. I get to show an example. I didn't want this to be something kind of cleaned up, cut up workouts where you don't see sweat, that are kind of very distant, because many follow along workouts are kind of like this. No, this is uncut. This shows me doing these workouts with you from the beginning to the end. There's even bloopers there in this, actually a couple of the workouts. But this is what I want to show in the workouts. It's a sort of mental strength that gives you result. It's a sort of attitude. It's like, I started with the saying, like, if you're living like that freaking puppy, and sometimes you need to be like this way, then, and if you're too depressed, you're too repressed, and you just can't get to that level, if you can't summon the spirit. So I want you to understand this. In order for you to get through this challenging, this workout, something needs to wake up. If you're not mentally there, it's going to be a hard time. And this is why these workouts are so that it wakes up something inside of you. Because when you face that moment where you're fatigued and you're in pain and just can't go on, and you just start to your spirit starts to go low. It's the moment. It has come. Here I will not let you stop. I will push you through this moment. And on this moment, something has to come up. Something has to wake up for you to go forward. It might be some little bit different spirit with people. For me, it's something that's quite bloodthirsty. So I will wake up the spirit in you. And this way you will get past through your plateaus. And this is the straight warrior path, because it doesn't ask this. You will know this in this moment. What is your warrior spirit? You will know this on those moments when there's nothing there, you want to quit, but you didn't. Then it will come out. So find out that state that you're missing, that's something that's not letting you progress. What are you kind of avoiding? What is the state that you haven't, it's been too repressed down and you can't awaken it up? You need to find that. You need to locate it. Warrior spirit, no questions asked, you just do.